Louisiana All-American Sports Show. 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 Louisiana. If the sports you wanna talk about, then listen to the hottest show that's coming out the South. It's Eric Hatfield and Coach Perry Daniels, man. They're gonna sit you down and tell you all about the game and make it plain. 96.9 FM, that's the station. To hear the best sports talk show in the nation. Without hesitation, you should get with this. You get your popcorn ready, boy, you better not miss. Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Louisiana. Joker B. Check this out.
Woo-hoo, I'm just so fresh, so clean. Good morning, Baton Rouge. Today is Saturday, February the 11th, 2017. And you're locked and loaded to 96.9 FM WHYR for the 6th edition of the year 2017 of the Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Good morning. This is Eric Hatfield, noticing that the sun is out and the birds are chirping.
And I'm Gerard Piper, a.k.a. Joker P, and I'm also noticing the chipmunks and everything.
And I'm Coach Perry Daniels, and I am in the great state of Georgia trying to console hearts from the occurrences of last Sunday evening.
Yeah, Perry, I mean, I don't know how much can be divulged, but I'll just say that because of family relations, Perry, unfortunately, is often close to where a disaster just occurred. I don't know how much you want to share with that, but it's, I wasn't even trying to be funny. I was just trying to explode. Yeah, but it's that came out really bad. I didn't mean it the way it sounded. Anyway, good morning and welcome to the Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Look, I'm just going to awkwardly run away from that train wreck and say that last night took us to the community of Broadmoor, where the Broadmoor Buccaneers at Buccaneers Gym hosted the McKinley Panthers in a District 5-5A matchup. The Broadmoor Buccaneers are a strange team as far as, I guess what you call a cellar dweller. They haven't won a lot of games, but they've been very competitive in a lot of games that they, air quotes here, shouldn't be competitive in. And actually, they stole one at McKinley earlier this year at McKinley. Granted, it was without McKinley star players Tyrese Radford and A.J. Lee, but even so, we watched McKinley just the Friday before take EA 3/4 solid without those two guys. EA is one of the best teams in the state, right, and then play a Broadmoor team that leaves much to be desired, and they left. Broadmoor got a very desired win. Wow.
It was a great win, I think, for McKinley. They started out real good. They won, of course, 67-61 was the final score. Tyrese Radford was definitely our player of the game as he took that game over in the second half and the third quarter when Broadmoor was starting to make a little bit of a run and started to cut into the lead. McKinley had got over a double-digit lead, close to 20 points. And in the second half, they kind of dropped the ball a little bit. And the Buccaneers are trying to fight their way back, clawing their way back, hitting big 3 points.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, man, and, they gave a great effort. And here comes Tyrese. He ended up with 31 points to lead McKinley to a close win. But they needed that win. It was a revenge game, and Coach Boudreaux told me himself that it was personal because the way they came into, in the bottom and beat McKinley. So
and it should have been. It was a very, we've talked, folks. We have two sets of listeners on any set of radio shows. You have your people that pop in every now and then, your people that pop in by accident. So it's really three sets, and your people that listen regularly. People that listen regularly, know that this McKinley team is just consistently inconsistent. They have great coaching. They have a very solid star player. They have very solid. I think they have a very solid number two guy, if you will, in A.J. Lee, if that makes any sense. Kind of like David West to the old Hornets, Chris Paul, right, in more ways than one, actually. But and they have role players that know their roles and play their roles. This is a team that deserves to be a contention for a top 4 seed. It's a team that deserves to probably be no more than second in their district, but yet they're a team that is consistently inconsistent. And they were blowing Broadmoor out of their own building by halftime, and in the second second half, we kind of joked beforehand, I think maybe some of the kids thought there was a mercy rule in basketball and they just had to show up for the second half. And that didn't happen. This Broadmoor team, these are varsity athletes. They're proud and they're at home, and they came right back in the game and cut it down to 2 points at one point. And, McKinley has a tendency, I've noticed, to play down to their opponent's level when they play a team that, quote, is maybe equal or lesser to them in talent.
Yeah, well, I think maybe the reason why they let them back because, hey, it is getting close to Valentine's Day, and so it's all about love. And this is the Valentine's Day edition of the Louisiana All-American Sports Show. But seriously though, I think Coach Boudreaux is concerned about that going and heading into the playoffs. He mentioned it himself. This was a big win. They needed this win to try to stay in a good seeding in the playoff bracket. I think. Did he say what the number 4 right now?
He said they were, I want to say they were in the neighborhood of 5 or 6, but he said, in essence, what he said last night was if they win the next 2 games, they will probably be number 4. Some things need to happen that will probably happen, but he expects them to get that 4 seed if they can beat East Ascension, in Gonzales on Tuesday night. That's not going to be easy.
A big game.
And then next Friday, live right here on 96.9 FM WHYR, streaming at WHYR.org, we will have McKinley hosting Catholic High in their regular season finale. That's not an easy game either. Now is it not an easy game? They've lost that game before.
Yes, indeed. So it's going to come down to it. We're starting to get to the point now where every game counts. And, of course, the playoffs is going to be coming up soon. So make sure you guys stay tuned in to us because we're going to have exclusive coverage of McKinley High School basketball here on WHYR 96.9 FM. And I think we have a little contest. We got some tickets we're going to give out today. And, hey, you want to get into it or you want to wait till after Coach Holmes?
Let's hold on to our interview because that's going to tie that line up. Let's hold on to the second half of the show, and we'll give those tickets away.
Coach, I know
I did.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Coach. You go ahead. You got the floor.
I was just going to let you guys know that I did let our high school guest coach know to call into the studio there, so he should be doing that shortly. Let's get those other games that happened last night around town. Let's provide our listeners those scores.
Absolutely, I'm queuing those up as we speak. Perry, while I pull up those districts that we our member districts, if you will.
Yes.
Did you have any? I know you caught some of the game, didn't catch them all. Did you have any observations on last night's game? And our guest is also calling in. Everything's happening here at WHYR. But did you have any observations on the game last night?
Yeah, absolutely. Good win by McKinley. Coach Boudreaux's doing a good job of keeping that team together. Young men are just inconsistent. You never know what's going on at home, in the community. Once they get focused, and usually the playoffs will tend to do that to your basketball team, especially a basketball team that has tradition and is used to being in those environments, which McKinley does. They tend to get a little bit more focused during the playoff time. So I look forward to that. There's no telling how far this team can go. And speaking of which, how far teams can go, we have on the line a coach that is doing a fantastic job up in the northern part of the parish. And according to him, he has one of the best teams he's ever coached. On the court, by the record, they are clearly one of the best teams at this particular high school in a number of years. So, do we have our guests ready, guys?
Yes, we have on the line Baker High School Baker High School head basketball coach Jamie Holmes on the line, kind enough to join us here on the Louisiana All-American Sports Show. Coach, good morning. Thank you so much for calling in.
Good morning, guys.
Coach, I got to say, I call Coach Holmes kind of a Louisiana All-American Sports original. I won't bore everybody with a history lesson, but Louisiana All-American Sports didn't always have a Saturday show. We weren't even always on the radio. At one point, we were just on the internet. In fact, at one point, we were just on a tape recorder. Anyway, Coach Holmes is one of those folks we covered from the beginning when he was at Family Christian Academy. He was always opened the doors for us, so to speak, rolled out the red carpet, gave us anything we need. And, he's kind of advanced in his career as Louisiana All-American Sports is advanced. And now he's coaching in that very competitive District 6 3A with the Baker Buffaloes. Baker has not had a really competitive basketball team in a while, but now they are taking names and putting people on notice. Coach, tell us about your odyssey.
blessed with 7 unbelievable. They great kids. I have 12 kids total.
Coach, hang on a second. It's coming in super choppy. Say that one more time, please.
Go ahead, Coach. You're not in a helicopter, are you?
We have 7
Much better.
seniors, 3 juniors, a sophomore, which the sophomore is our second leading scorer, and we have a freshman. Just 12 kids.
Wow. I want to first congratulate you on the big win earlier this season. We saw that you guys had upset WHYR and pulled that game out. I want to give you also a compliment. Just kind of a little bit off of basketball, but man, you're a pretty sharp dresser. You know, I've noticed that on the sideline. You know, you dress pretty sharp, and I like that. But you also mentioned earlier this year when we talked to you that this is probably one of the best teams you had for athletically wise. So how did these guys come to be this year? How did these guys come? How did you get these guys this year?
Over the summer, we worked hard, and I got the job at Baker. Man, it was about how can we get the Baker kids to stay home? How can we get them to stay home? I knew when I got the job that everybody was coming, and I'm using this word, taking athletes out of Baker, they're driving Baker. So I had to come in with an attraction, man, and that attraction was discipline. The attraction was discipline, hard work, and showing what these kids could do academically. Last year we had 14 kids on the team, 11 made the honor roll. And then we had a chance to attract kids like Dexter Dennis, who may be one of the best basketball players in the state of Louisiana. Montreal Blake, nicknamed Money from Northeast. He comes on board also with 6'7", Xavier Johnson, to go with the nucleus we had coming back. And all these kids, Baker kids. We have 4 kids out there at other schools that live in Baker. We're trying to put a wall up that if you live in Baker and you're an athlete, you're going to stay in Baker.
I like that. I approve of Coach Holmes's wall, unlike some other walls that have gotten some notoriety in the press. That's a good kind of wall to have. Keep that community tight-knit and keep those kids, those talented kids playing there. Coach, why don't you share with the audience, of course, we mentioned the WHYR win, which I'm sure had to be like hitting the jackpot in terms of PowerPoints. Share with the audience now where you guys are in terms of playoff possibilities this season and compare it to where you guys were this time last year, please.
Well, last year we didn't make the playoffs. The year before, I took the job of Baker High School, won 6 games. Last year came in, we won 12 and 18. We won 3 games in district. Right now we 8-4 district, 23-7, 1 game away from Dublin. Last year total, and we 6-3 is like the ACC. we can win out in our district. We have a chance to be a top 5 team going into the playoffs, which that means the community of Baker can host 2 playoff games.
Coach?
Coach, when was the last time that Baker hosted a playoff game?
In many years, I tell you this is the best record Baker has had since I graduated high school with a guy that I grew up with when I went to Catholic school by the name of Reggie Jackson. Went on to play at Nicholls State University. Reggie and I went to St. Anthony together, but that's the best year Baker had. This is the best year Baker had since 1991. That's the year I came out of White House High School.
Go ahead, Coach.
Hello?
Yeah, 1991, my goodness. Price of gas was 95 cents. George H.W. Bush was in the White House. Magic Johnson was facing Michael Jordan in the NBA Finals. We can go on and on. That's a long time ago.
Yeah. Well, Coach Holmes, you actually won last night, 73-65 against Parkview Baptist. Why don't you tell us about that win last night?
Oh, we came up with that. We didn't come out with the second half. But that win set up a treat tonight, and how do y'all know about this treat that's on the table for us? And it's a big stage. We go to a very good friend of mine. Back since he started at Madison Prep. One of you guys was on that staff. We got Baker play Madison Prep. I think Perry was on that staff when they first got got started.
Yeah, man, it's amazing to see.
They're loading their games at Family Christian Academy.
Go ahead, Coach.
I caught part of that, Coach. I only caught part of that, but it is amazing to see how Madison Prep has evolved since they got rid of me.
Perry's lending to my disaster theory right now unwittingly. I had nothing to do with that, folks.
Coach Jones get that program started.
So, but that's awesome, Coach. Good luck to you guys tonight. Good luck to you in that awesome district of 6-3A. We say it all the time right here on Louisiana All-American Sports. It is probably the toughest district in the three major sports, football, basketball, and baseball, in the state. It is probably the toughest. So you've done a great job. Talk before I let you go, though, and I know Baker's having a tremendous year, but the dean of that district of coaching, Coach Adger, and that Glen Oaks team who snuck up on you guys last week in the the Baker Buffaloes. But talk about Coach Adger and that Glen Oaks team, man, because they started this district off with 13 losses. And I see that they are slowly elevating throughout that district.
First of all, about Coach Adger, me and many coaches, he's the senior coaches in Louisiana. The guy takes his record and reputation speak for itself. I go pick his brains in the game of basketball and life. But I tell you this, it's not shocking. Those kids gonna play hard. They play for one of them kids. One of them. Why they records like that? They played a tough schedule.
Yes.
They played a tough
they
schedule.
did.
And what I'm looking at the power rankings, it can be a Glen Oaks Baker quarterfinal to go to the top 28. That possibly can happen.
Wow.
And that'll be scary. That's what I'm saying. Wow.
So how many teams out of 6-3A are going to make the playoffs, Coach?
Everybody.
Wow.
Everybody. All teams will get in.
That is so awesome.
Guys, I call it 6-3A the ACC.
Yeah, I like that. You look at it. Baker, Bruley, Donaldsonville might be the weakest link of the bunch, and that's not a weak link. Glen Oaks Park.
No, I don't think nobody in the district weak.
Yeah.
Wesley, Westphal, anybody in 3A, get any of those guys from playoff draw, they better come ready to play.
Better come ready.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, Coach, good luck to you tonight. If you win tonight, Coach, that's going to elevate you up the power rankings.
Yes, sir, it will.
Good luck to you all.
Thanks for having me on your show, guys.
Coach, thank you so much for joining us.
Sure,
We always appreciate it.
Good luck to you, my brother.
Good luck, Coach.
All right, thank y'all.
Sharp dresser right there.
That was Coach Jamie Holmes. I tell you what, Coach Holmes is his wife. If you notice, now look, back in the days at Family Christian, sometimes he just have on like a windbreaker and some sweatpants, but now he's moving up the ladder. He's got to look sharp. The newspapers might be there and stuff. He comes there. At the beginning of the year, I saw him with a collared shirt. I didn't see that very often. Now I'm seeing a tie and a coat. Shoot, Coach Holmes knows what time it is. Coincidence? I think not. So that was Coach Jamie Holmes. And since we started off, normally we almost always start off with 5-5A, but since we had Coach Holmes and we mentioned that very competitive district, and also I have it up on my computer, we'll start off with District 6-3A with what went on last night in that district. Those 8 teams are a fool. The Baker Buffaloes defeated Parkview Baptist, as Coach mentioned, or one of y'all mentioned earlier, 73-65. Bruley and Glen Oaks. Glen Oaks put the wood to Bruley. That game was at Glen Oaks. Coach Adger defending his floor, 74-63. Donaldsonville versus U High. That was at Donaldsonville, and U High pulled that one. Actually, they smashed Donaldsonville. Final score was 92-54. And did I call all 4 of them? Yes, I did. So those were the Oh, I'm sorry, left one out. Sorry about that. Oh my goodness, I should be ashamed of myself. Port Allen and West Feliciana. At West Feliciana, Port Allen lost a close one, 54-50. That's a very tough district, no matter how you slice it. And I mean, Coach Holmes said he expects all those teams to make the playoffs. That is not surprising to me at all. Those are all, quality programs, really from top to bottom. And to echo what Coach Perry Daniels said moments ago, I'm impressed, but I'm not surprised, if you will, how Coach Adger managed to turn around the fortune of those Glen Oaks Panthers. That's what happens with great coaching. You can't, never underestimate the heart of a champion, as it is said. In District 5-5A of the Louisiana High School Athletic Association, Broadmoor McKinley, of course, last night. McKinley won on the road 67-61.
Yeah.
We did not get a final score from Catholic at Santamar. That's not in yet. Dutchtown hosted East Ascension. East Ascension, a really low-scoring game, defeated Dutchtown 55-42. That's very interesting. And those are the three finals that we have in from that district. Moseying on down, kind of to the other side of town. Not exactly. I don't want to overstate that. But in District 4-5A, there was a war going on last night. I've been saying all year, kind of subtly and under my breath a little bit, that to keep an eye on Walker. Walker has been playing... They've been playing the best basketball that I've observed Walker playing since I've started closely following high school basketball in this area. They actually had Scotlandville on the ropes. Scotlandville had a 1-point lead at the half at Walker, but in the second half, Coach Carlos Sample hit the little turbo button like you see on those old race car games. Scotlandville defeated Walker in that district matchup 82-63. Just again reasserting who the king of that district is for now. Central versus Denham Springs. Central actually defeated Denham Springs 52-46. Live Oak and Zachary, strange. There were fewer than 70 points scored in that game. Zachary defeated Live Oak 46. There were exactly 70 points scored in that game. 46-24, the final in that contest. So that's our those are our scores from District 4-5A. Moving on down the line to District to the Class 4A, the Bel Air Bengals faced Plaquemine. It's hard times for the Bel Air Bengals. Plaquemine, the Green Devils ate them alive in Plaquemine, 75-43. Livonia and Woodlawn. Woodlawn put the wood to Livonia, 50-47. I wouldn't say put the wood, but they did win. St. Michael, the Archangel, traveled to Tara, just off of Goodwood, and they defeated Tara in a nail-biter, 57-55. We already covered our members in 3A. Of course, we would be remiss in talking about high school basketball if we did not talk about District 7-2A because of one Madison Prep Academy. And actually, we don't have a score out of that district, but we do have a Capital lost to Mentorship 51-34. That's the only score we have out of that district so far. Take a joke if you have a chance. Take a peek, see if there's anything from Madison Prep, but I don't see anything here on them. In District 6-1A. Hey, just don't be fooled by the small size of the number because these are some teams with a lot of talent. The Southern Lab Kittens, who are on a championship mission this year, they went on the road to East Iberville and just gangsta slapped, to quote my man Stuart Scott, the really great Stuart Scott, gangsta slapped East Iberville 75-40. Ascension Catholic dropped one at St. John, 45-43. St. John victorious in that contest. We do not have any scores from White Castle and Ascension Christian, so nothing from that contest there. So that's our wrap-up here in the Baton Rouge High School area. Look, man, it's going down. It's going down tonight. Or actually went down last night. But like I said, a lot of good basketball being played, folks. So that's, I guess, our high school wrap-up.
That's pretty much the high school wrap-up here. The last win that I saw that Madison Prep had was against Riverside Academy, which was 64-57, and yes, that was on 2-9, so that looks like that was on Thursday night. So I want to give shouts out to MP Madison Prep. Also, I want to give a shout out to Lehigh with their coach Tyrus Thomas. Mm-hmm. They actually won last night. I'm getting ready to pull this score for you guys before we go into our Valentine's song of the day, man. You guys gonna definitely enjoy this. But Lehigh won here.
Oh, they won.
Yeah, they won. They won, and I know they wasn't doing too good this year. This is Tyrus Thomas' first year there, and they won against Runnels, 59-47.
Keep one eye on that team. When you have former NBA players helping coach these kids, you're gonna you have especially a guy like Tyrus, who you can just see his heart is into it when he was talking about it when we saw him at the EBR tournament late last year. You can see his heart's into it. When a guy like that has his heart into it, the players pick up on that. The kids pick up on that very quickly, and I think you're going to see a rapid ascension at Lehigh.
Most definitely. And hey, now we're to our section. It's the Valentine's Day edition of the Louisiana All-American Sports Show, and so I thought, I had to play a little something kind of soft. This is an old. To me, this is the first hip hop love song. Hip hop is real macho.
I think I know what this is.
And back then, you had to be real macho. You wore your gazelles, you folded your arms, and you took your stance, and you was hard. You know what I mean? But this guy came, and he was a hard guy, but he was the first one to kind of break that ice.
I'm gonna take a guess. Is this a guy who's still super famous?
This is a guy who's still super famous.
I already know what it is.
And his head was like a shark's fin. So that's a little bit of a clue for you guys. But check this out. It's LL Cool J, I Need Love.
When I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall, and in the back of my mind I hear my conscience call, telling me I need a girl who's as sweet as a dove. For the first time in my life, I see I need love. Damn. Make yourself sing. I'm waiting. I love you.
Yeah.
Women wake that up too.
Oh, girl.
Man. Oh, man, how can you get more better than that?
LL Cool J, that was
Valentine's Day, I Need Love.
That was I remember that. I had that cassette. That cassette. That tells you how old it is. I had that cassette. That was on Bad, released in 1987, almost some 30 years ago. It just sang that. Wow. Is almost like a shock to the system. But LL, man, that brother could be smooth. He looking in the camera, and he could actually use the words revelation and unfurl in the same song, and it still be cool.
And it still be cool, man. Hey, LL is kind of underrated.
Good selection,
man.
Joker.
Yeah.
Good selection.
Yes, indeed, man. Most definitely. And, I think LL is a little bit underrated now because he's a big actor now. He's on TV, and a lot of the younger generation don't know him as he was the king back then. He was that guy.
He was, as far as solo acts, in my opinion, was number
exactly.
one.
It was solo acts. Back then, it was a lot of groups that dominated the hip-hop scene, and he was one of the first young guys at a young age with Crush Groove, 16, 17 years old. And he came out as a solo artist, and so he revolutionized a lot in the hip-hop game. And so salute to LL, salute to everybody out there. If you need love, hey.
Well,
maybe go online. You're on the dating service.
There actually is no smooth transition from LL Cool J at all. But hey, it is Saturday. It's going to be Saturday afternoon, and of course that means our teams in Baton Rouge are going to take their act to the hardwood. So let's go ahead and start off our odyssey on the bluff. The Southern University Jaguars. They are. Look, I'll tell you, there are a lot of teams. Not a lot of teams. There are a couple of teams that play college basketball in Baton Rouge, and this is one I definitely enjoy talking about. It is one of the two teams I enjoy talking about in Baton Rouge. That's a not so subtle hint. And the Jaguars, look, they're on a little bit of a run here. They had the win over Jackson State on national television on Monday night, and a big win against that rival, 88-75, a good solid game. They nipped Grambling State. Coach, you tell me, because I haven't watched Grambling. Did Grambling just catch Southern slipping, or has Grambling actually got a pulse this year? Because 67-66, that doesn't even stand to reason with the Jaguars.
So the Jaguars had a big lead in that game. They allowed Grambling to come back, but they held them off and were able to get the victory. This is not your traditional Grambling basketball team, though, Eric. They do have a pulse this year. They have been competitive throughout the SWAC competition.
Look, I'm always happy to hear that. I'm always happy when Grambling's doing well. Sounds a lot like the Broadmoor-McKinley game a little bit. But look, the Jaguars they're on the road today. They're on the road, actually on a 2-game road stretch, as they have Arkansas Pine Bluff at 7:30 tonight. I have no TV or radio information for that, but Go Jag Sports sometimes has an audio link. That's hit or miss sometimes. And also on Monday, they go to Itabena, Mississippi and face the Delta Devils. I'm sure Derek is listening, and I'm sure he'll be crying in his beer after Southern wins that game. Now, you see what I did there? But look, Arkansas Pine Bluff, this is one of those games where on paper you think, well, yeah, the way Southern's been playing, the strength of the games they're playing in, yeah, sure, Southern ought to win that game fairly comfortably despite being on the road. But look, they sweated it out before, again on ESPN3 earlier last month, and just nipped Arkansas Pine Bluff by 1 point. I still think Southern's a better basketball team. I expect Southern to win this game, but they have shown, and this is so funny because it's just like this McKinley parallel here, they have shown that they can sometimes play down to their opponent's level and be exposed. That being said, I still expect the Jaguars to win. I'm not picking Pine Bluff over the Jags today.
Well, I think the Jags did a good job. They're on a 2-game win streak right now. They beat, like you said, they beat Jackson State here Monday 75-88, and today the game is here. So I'm going to go with the Jaguars to keep rolling, to have a 3-game win streak, and to win today. So I'm picking the Jaguars. I think they've been underachieving a little bit. Their record is 11-13, but they're trying to get to 500. This is not the typical year that usually the Jaguars will be doing a little bit better than this, but I'm going to pick him today, man. I'm going to give Roman Banks give him a chance. I think he's doing a good job.
Yeah, I'm going to take them today as well as Monday night. I think they beat both of these teams, Arkansas Pine Bluff and Mississippi Valley. Both teams are near the bottom of the SWAC rankings. This Jaguar team has had difficulty with the top part of the SWAC rankings, but the bottom part they've been able to handle.
Well, I enjoy talking about Southern University basketball. It's refreshing to watch this team, in spite of every obstacle thrown their way, remain competitive and certainly at least give themselves a fighting chance in the SWAC. And so now we're going to go from a team with a fighting chance to a team with absolutely no chance, unless there were lottery picks in college basketball, which there are not. So there's really nothing to look forward to as we go.
On the other side of town, moving quickly, rolling swiftly in the hoochie ride.
I have 2 6-month-old children at home, 2 twins, and I'm trying to. Their mother, my mother read to me even before I could understand, the words and stuff, because it kind of forms those little road maps in the brain, and their mom does that with them. And while I'm not home with them during the day, I try to do as much as possible. And interestingly, early this week, I turned on Sesame Street with my kids, and I watched them there, and they like seeing the puppets and stuff and little funny noises. But hopefully, some of those very important educational lessons that are taught by that program sink home. And one of the shows this week that we watched was brought to you by the letter L. And since we are talking about LSU men's basketball, I think it is fitting that we continue that lesson from Sesame Street. Eric and Elizabeth, if you're listening, this segment is also brought to you by the letter L. And one of the words that is spelled with the letter L is lose. And that is something that this LSU team, also brought to you by the letter L, has done a lot. This team is on a tear.
Right.
And not the good kind. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 losses in a row as they dropped the game. They actually had a pulse at Kentucky, interestingly, but lost that game. They have Arkansas today at the PMAC. This team has failed to rise to any occasion whatsoever. They're 1-10 in conference play, only 9-14 overall. If high school, again, if there were lottery picks in college recruiting, I would say fantastic. LSU will get the number one. They'll have who's that guy you told me about, LaMelo Ball, the kid out in California who's making all these highlights on the internet. They'd have the beat on him, but as it stands, you get none of that. The future ex-coach Johnny Jones has no recruiting clout whatsoever. This team is going down in a ball of flames, kind of like Derek's pick on the I told you so. Obviously, I'm going to pick the University of Arkansas today, and I'm going to pick them by 10 points or more. I don't even think it's competitive after halftime. Go ahead, Joker was getting the phone.
Well, someone called in. I actually we're doing a Facebook Live of our show and everything. We haven't got to the James Baldwin about the movie tickets and everything, but as soon as I mentioned it and put it in there, someone called in. So hey, looks like we may have a winner here, Coach. We have a young lady here on the phone.
Really? So someone has already called in. They're on the line now?
They're on the line now.
You want to turn it up?
Okay, well, if they can answer this trivia question, we'll give them the tickets. So, first of all, we are offering tickets to Monday night's event at the Manship Theater. It is the viewing of the movie I Am Not Your Negro, which is a story regarding James Baldwin and his life and his connection to three icons, stalwarts of the civil rights movement, how he was connected to Dr. Martin Luther King, Medgar Evers, and Malcolm X. So this documentary speaks to those relationships that James Baldwin had with those three men. Here's the trivia question to our caller. First of all, caller, what's your name?
Tammy.
What's your first name? Say it again.
Tammy.
Tammy, well, thank you for listening to the Louisiana All-American Sports Show. And are you available Monday night?
Yes, I am.
Sounds like a date.
Okay, Tammy. Well, here's your question. In order for you to be able to go and take someone, a significant other, boyfriend, husband, whatever, with you Monday night, name to me the 6 New England Patriots that have decided not to go visit Donald Trump and the White House. Tammy?
Tammy's speechless.
I do not know their names.
Tammy, that's okay. I'm one of the hosts of this show.
I do not know their names, but I know that there are some black men on there, and I do not blame them. I would not go to that White House either.
Well, there are also some white men who aren't going either. I know you got Chris Long, Chandler Jones. I couldn't tell you who else, and I'm one of the hosts of this show, so don't feel bad.
I bet you Tom Brady gonna be there.
Hey, she might get the tickets
Tammy,
just for her answer. Yeah.
Yes.
Tammy, I'm going to give you one more shot at these tickets. Name to me the guest that Louisiana All-American Sports Show had last week. Name his name and what team he played for.
I did not listen last week. I missed it.
Oh, Tammy, you're going to have to clear my line.
I know, right? Come on now.
We really appreciate you listening, though, Tammy.
Okay. All right.
All right. All right.
Thank you. Coach is asking.
Tammy.
Go ahead, Coach.
I'm sorry. Listener to the Louisiana All-American Sports Show. That was cool, man. I really appreciate Tammy listening.
And Coach is throwing curveballs at him. I know, man. I'm like, I host it.
I don't even know the 6
I'm
players.
going to host the show because I got Chris Long. I know that's one, and I think Chandler Jones. I can name 2. Shoot, that's about it. Oh my goodness.
Well, actually, what we're going to.
Anybody out there that's listening, though, if you can name all 6 of those players, the first caller, we've got 2 tickets to the Manship Theater to watch the program I Am Not Your Negro, the new movie that just came out last week. It is a documentary film regarding the life of James Baldwin and his relationship with Dr. King, Medgar Evers, and Malcolm X.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and look that up now that she knows what the question is, like everybody else.
Well, well, how about we play a clip from the movie and give our listeners a kind of a little snippet of what the movie is about.
Yeah, why tell you when I can show you? Perry, I'm unplugging you for just a second while Joker plays this clip. Yeah, sure, why not?
Here it is.
if we were white, if we were Irish, if we were Jewish, if we were Poles, if we had, in fact, in your mind, a frame of reference, our heroes would be your heroes too. Nat Turner would be a hero for you instead of a threat. Malcolm X might still be alive. And everyone is very proud of brave little Israel, a state against which I have nothing. I don't want to be misinterpreted. I'm not an anti-Semite. But when the Israelis pick up guns, or the Poles, or the Irish, or any white man in the world says, give me liberty or give me death, the entire white world applauds. When a black man says exactly the same thing, word for word, he is judged a criminal and treated like one, and everything possible is done to make an example of this bad nigger so there won't be any more like him.
Got it.
And that's was your clip from I Am Not Your Negro. And, I used to watch James Baldwin, a lot of clips of his, debating Malcolm X on a lot of issues. And but both of them were actually friends. But they debated each other. And what an intelligent young man in different aspects. And he was very knowledgeable in a lot of different areas. And I picked up a lot from James Baldwin. So, this would be a great movie and for someone to go and see. Once again, if you want to call in at 343-9927, 343-9927, you can claim these tickets. We have 2 tickets for the screenings.
Hey, Joker, give the area code for those folks listening online that may not be familiar.
It's 225-343-9927, 225-343-9927. We have 2 tickets for the at the Manship Theater. The screenings of the movie is going to be February the 13th and February the 20th. So, hey, we're waiting on our next caller to come and claim these tickets.
So Joker, anyway, that's a great interruption from my diatribe on LSU basketball, but I think you pretty much caught most of the talk about them. LSU Arkansas, any comments?
Man, LSU has just been so disappointing this year, especially, when I think about us covering Brandon Sampson, when we, covered him at Madison Prep, and he was supposed to go to St. John's, and then the coach got fired up there, so he transferred and came down to LSU. I thought it was going to be a big thing for him, with the number 1 pick leaving last year from LSU, and they kind of brought a lot of spotlight down there to those guys. But for the season he's having this year and the disappointment in that team, it's just, man, I just fear for Coach Johnny Jones, man. I just don't know if I know he's not going to be there next year. I just don't see it at all.
No.
So it's nothing been exciting for me this year about LSU basketball. Not at all. I'll
tell you what's exciting about LSU basketball is that the season's almost over and that baseball's around the corner. That's about the most exciting stuff about basketball. I'm assuming, Joker, that you got Arkansas in this game today.
I got Arkansas in this game today.
Coach?
Hey, we got another
absolutely Arkansas, and Johnny Jones is not your Negro.
No, he's
LSU
not.
Fans, LSU fans, so that he's not the one. I didn't give his tickets away though.
That had a double meaning there. And it's 100% true.
We got another call. We have a return caller actually.
Yeah.
On air.
Tammy?
Yes, Tammy.
Come on,
once
Tammy.
again. So.
Yes, I am.
All
right,
I have
Tammy.
Marcellus Bennett. He's a tight end, number 29. LeGarrette Blunt, running back, number 30.
Yes.
Alan Brown,
Yes.
defensive tackle, 32. Dante Hightower, linebacker, number 26. Chris Long, defensive end, number 31.
That's the white guy.
Devin McCorney, defensive back, number 29. Is that good enough?
Woo!
That is good enough. That is all 6.
That's wow.
And it is to be noted that Chris Long is of the dominant culture, and he also is not your Negro.
No.
So, awesome. Tammy, you have 2 tickets. Joker, if you could get her full name off the air, all she has to do is show up Monday night, 7 o'clock at the Manship Theater. have an ID, give them her name and her ID at the ticket box office, and they will have 2 tickets there for her to see I Am Not Your Negro.
Well, thank you, gentlemen.
Well, congratulations, Tammy. You can stay on the line, and I'll get your information here in a second.
So yeah, no, Jake Long is Jake Long. Chris Long is definitely not your Negro. And Johnny Jones will probably not be our guy for much longer either. We do have a competitive game, a very competitive game actually. It's going to be on Fox, which is interesting. Fox has actually carried a lot of good college basketball this year, particularly out there on the East Coast. Anyway, the Villanova Wildcats are going to travel to Ohio to face Xavier. Villanova has been, look, they're defending national champions for a reason. Xavier is one of those teams, I'll tell you, that they're always just about to turn that corner to make a serious contention for the national title, but then they kind of end up losing a game like this. Now, the last time I watched Villanova, they slugged it out with Virginia, came from behind a wrestle that went away. I was really impressed with how Jay Wright just kept his team's nose to the grindstone, even though they're on the road and they're going to be at it's always a very hostile crowd at Xavier. I'm still going to go with the defending national champions, but folks, if you like college basketball, if you're kind of late, a lot of folks don't really start watching until February or March. This is a good game. It's going to be 1:30 our time on Fox, and I'm going to go with the Villanova Wildcats to go on the road and defeat the Xavier Musketeers in what I expect to be a very, very tight game in the Big East, or Big East game rather. Joker's still getting that info. Coach, why don't you go ahead?
Okay, yeah, so I totally agree with you, Eric. Man, living up here, I've been able to watch a lot of Big East basketball the last few weeks. And this Xavier team is pretty good, but this Villanova team just has too much firepower, and they play too good of a defense to lose to Xavier even in Ohio. So I'm going to go with Villanova as well in this game. But hey, the Big East is going to make some heads turn in this year's NCAA tournament. Yes.
So Joker, I've got Villanova. Coach has Villanova at Xavier.
I'm going to go to defending national champion Villanova Wildcats in this game.
So that's our college basketball, and of course we'll see who was right and who was wrong, and who can tell who's so. And I'll tell you what, Tammy told you, Coach. I told you. What did I tell you? Now give me them tickets. You should have given them to me a long time ago. Here we go, folks. It's I told you so.
Yeah.
I told you. What did I tell you? Didn't I tell you? 'Cause I told you. And when did I tell you? A long time ago. And what did I say will happen when I told you? Exactly what just happened.
I know you guys want a prediction. If I had to say something,
you had to put money down.
I'm gonna go ahead and say the Patriots.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll go first.
Go ahead.
I'll go first. I'm gonna be short and sweet. Falcons in the upset.
Falcons in the upset. Well, I got Eric Hatfield's pick. He told me anybody except the Falcons. So I would take that, imagine that Eric is going to choose the Patriots. I'm Gerard Piper, a.k.a. Joker P. I usually I call Tom Brady dimple in the chin, but I can't go against dimple in the chin, so I got to go with New England. What I'm going with, since Derek and everything Mississippi, I'm going to go on with this good state of Mississippi, and I'm going to choose Atlanta. I'm going to change my pick. I'm going with Atlanta. I'm dirty. I'm dirty first.
Y'all
you're the one going with Atlanta.
Y'all gonna go with y'all gonna get the Darth Vader no.
You know what?
Way.
You know.
Yeah, I'm New England all the way here, and
So I guess the Darth Vader no wound up going to.
Man, you cut Derek up.
Hey, I like when Derek puts it out there. It makes for more entertaining. I told you so. You know, if he went all Bill Belichick, we're just preparing for Cincinnati, then you know, it wouldn't really be as interesting. But Derek goes ahead and puts it all on the line. You know, when he's right, you got to hype it up, and when it's wrong, as I get to rub my hands together, I get to have a little fun at Mr. Thomas's expense. But it's all fun here. Well, talk about more bad basketball. You know, the New Orleans Pelicans have a 3-game road trip coming up. They have the Sacramento Kings tomorrow night. That actually will be nationally televised to embarrass us before the nation on NBA TV. Then the very next day, they travel to Phoenix and then to Memphis. So at least the travel isn't brutal. They're not going too far. But those games are at 8 o'clock, and 7 o'clock, respectively. The Monday and Wednesday games should be on Fox Sports New Orleans. That's Cox Channel 38. But look, this Pelicans team, here's the deal with them. They're only 3.5 games out of the final playoff spot, despite a brutal start to the season and being consistently inconsistent, to use that term. Having Drew Holiday back in the lineup since the early part of the season, he was out on family leave, has certainly helped. But look, here's the deal with this team. When they're at home or when they're playing against the Eastern Conference, they have a puncher's chance in any given game. These 3 games are all against Western Conference opponents and on the road, so I'm picking the Pelicans to lose 3 straight. Sacramento, Phoenix, and Memphis to go on just a nasty mudslide heading into the All-Star break. Whoa, sorry, yeah. So not heading into the All-Star break, but to go on a nasty mudslide this week.
I'm going to
That's
pick.
right, though. The All-Star
it is this. Okay, I wasn't sure. I thought it was the following week. So yeah, so they're going to go in on a low, in my opinion.
Well, the Pelicans haven't been impressing me much this year also. Just like LSU and just like Southern. It's like this year on the basketball side, we haven't been doing that well this year. I didn't know we're not going to get back into the Super Bowl.
Oh, we will. That's why I'm racing
you
through these Pelicans.
You want to go ahead and get through the Pelicans.
Yeah, we got 5 minutes. Speaking of which, in 5 minutes we have coming up Noel Jackson with Music Satisfaction on 96.9 FM WHYR Baton Rouge Community Radio. Go ahead, Joker.
But I haven't been impressed by the Pelicans this year, of course. And Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is a superstar, and let's not get it twisted. He's a superstar. The only thing I would put against him is he stays hurt too much. You know, I don't know if it has anything to do with his conditioning, or it's just unfortunate, things that happen to him. But he's gonna have to, learn how to get his body in shape more. Let
me tell you, former New Orleans Saint Hollis Thomas, who does radio in Philadelphia, often says the best ability is availability, and that's part of being a superstar. So who do you have in these games? Sacramento, Phoenix, and Memphis on the road.
Sacramento, Phoenix, and Memphis on the road. I don't have the Pelicans winning any of those games.
So three down.
Yeah.
Coach?
The Pelicans will beat Phoenix.
Okay, so you have them losing to Sacramento, beating Phoenix, and then losing to Jarrell Martin and the Memphis Grizzlies?
Yes. Tell me this, though. Do either of you know in the Sacramento game, is that the game that Cousins will be out?
Oh, I hope so.
Right.
Let's see now. He got suspended it was announced on Thursday. I can't see them going Friday and Saturday without a game before Sunday. So I'm going to assume, and you know what happens when you assume. I'm going to assume Cousins is playing in that game, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay. Usually there's an appeal process and all that, so that's why I'm thinking that may be that game.
Could be some low-hanging fruit.
If Cousins doesn't play, then I give the Pelicans a shot.
Okay, I think that's perfectly reasonable too. And as a Pelicans fan, anyway, I'm not going to make a joke, a reference about getting shot. But yeah, so look, we have a few minutes left.
Yeah,
just not cool.
We got a few minutes.
We got a few minutes left, and I think it's the last time until probably next August that we're going to talk about America's pastime of the 21st century, the game that stirs all of our blood, and that is the National Football League. So, and the final time we'll see our friends of the National Football League, we had Super Bowl 51, and it was one for the ages.
Yeah.
The team that I thought would win the way it happened. Nobody could have predicted. It was historic on a number of levels. Greatest comeback in Super Bowl history. First Super Bowl ever to go into overtime. What was not historic was that the Patriots won again. What was historic? Tom Brady, first player to play in 7 Super Bowls, first quarterback to win 5 Super Bowl championships. Not the first player, but first quarterback to start and win. Correct. So, look, heck of a game, and I'm so glad to dance. I rarely root for New England, but I was more than happy to dance on the Dirty Bird's grave.
Man, I just think what we've seen is the first this, the first that. We've been noticing that for the last 3 mega events. You know, you go back to the 3-1 deficit in the NBA Finals. Oh, this is the first time ever. Then we come to the World Series.
Right.
Oh,
It's the
down
Cubs.
3-1 at the Cubs. It's historic. You know, 3-1. Then we come to, you know, the national championship game between Alabama and Clemson. You know, then Clemson with the miraculous, you know, the way they won at the end. And now, back to back, it's like every super event has to be is very historic, or it's coming down to the last.
We're in a golden age of championship events right now.
You know what I mean? It's either that or a real big conspiracy. So, but I just give shouts out to you got to give shouts out to New England and their organization for what they did. You know, I have a lot of thoughts about that. We don't have time to really get into it, but I just wanted to bring that point up with our last, few mega sports events. They always pretty much been historic, seem to be.
Coach?
So, I've been saying the Patriots since about mid-season that they were going to win this Super Bowl. And I was really questioning myself at halftime of this particular game until Lady Gaga started singing "God Bless America." And I knew right then that the Patriots were going to come out victorious in this game. It is amazing. It is
man.
Amazing.
It is. When I saw him bring George Bush out.
Congratulations to the folks of Boston and New England fans around the world.
We have Coach Bill Belichick on the line. Wanted to get his opinion about that. Coach, we're already 5 weeks behind, so we're just preparing for Cincinnati. So that's Coach Belichick celebrating it his inimitable style. Joker.
Well, I definitely want to give, we didn't have time to get into it today, but I want to give a thumbs down, and I want to give a boo to Judge Mike Irwin for his comments that he made to the young African-American lady at Sammy's Grill. You know what I mean? Man, to me, that was a disgraceful act that you have done, and you should be investigated for all of the cases that you have been over for African Americans. What you got, Eric?
Judge Irwin's on the line. He had something to say in his own defense.
What did Judge have to say?
What do you got to say, Judge?
What do you got to say for yourself?
I'm a racist.
Oh, well, there you go. He confessed.
Well,
Well, that's half the problem, knowing your disabilities. Coach?
Yeah, man, Judge Irwin, that whole situation. But you bring up a very good point, Joker, and this is what we don't do as a society. Now that this has been publicly exposed, then someone needs to go back and look at his case log and see if there are any unjust sentences against African Americans, because our conscience tells us that, they deserve that.
Right.
Well, you can see that there's a bias in this man, and let's see if that bias exudes itself from the bench.
Folks, ditto, Coach.
I would bet 100-1 that it does.
We're all out of time, folks. So, Coach.
ADT, JNS, love you.
Have a good afternoon.
Peace, Baton Rouge.